Right. Ein herzliches Willkommen, a wonderful welcome to our Loop Faces episode 3, edition number 1. We're very happy to welcome you. Our participants are flying in currently, so one after the other is coming in. A wonderful good day. We'll start because we have a lot to say, a lot of content, and therefore let's go. It's a real pleasure to have you all with us today. And this is a very important one now, because before we begin, I would like to extend warm wishes of Eid Mubarak to all our friends, partners, and their families in the UAE, across the Middle East, and around the world who are celebrating. May there be peace soon again, time to heal, and meaningful connections with those who matter most. And perhaps this message feels even more relevant in the current moment. And we picked this day by coincidence, but it's a very important message from the deepest of our heart. Because while we are celebrating connection, we are also facing a time of uncertainty, particularly in the Middle East, where the current situation is already having a visible impact on travel, on connectivity, and on the way people make decisions. And that brings us directly to today's conversation. So how does our industry respond when entire regions suddenly become uncertain or even inaccessible? And what does this mean for our clients, our partners, and the future of travel? And we are very proud of bringing together today leading voices from the luxury industry. Wonderful 4 gentlemen I have here, a real powerhouse of wisdom, experience, and also great hearts. And we always have fun when we are together, because even if it's like it is, we have to have fun. That's very important. Each of them brings a real unique perspective on the strong market insight and direct exposure of what is happening on the ground today. So today we want to explore, how are we navigating the situation right now? What are we seeing across markets and clients? And most important, what lies ahead of us, as much as we can figure that out. I would like to introduce the panel personally. I will start with Stefan, the older. I'll start from the senior people downwards. Interesting. Steffen, since 2015, you have been leading the luxury brand Air Tours and are responsible for the strategic development and positioning, growth and sales of the brand. And since 2024, Steffen has refined the positioning of Air Tours and further aligned the hotel portfolio towards the ultra high-end segment, as well as initiating added value for customers and retail partners. Since May 2025, you're also responsible for the commercial sales division at TUI. Welcome, Stefan.
Thank you.
Our next speaker and colleague is Christoph. Christoph Berner is the founder of Berner Travel, and Christoph continues to innovate in the industry, combining deep expertise, personal connections, and a genuine passion for helping clients to turn their travel dreams into reality. He's a leading expert in luxury travel with decades of experience in visiting over 800 top hotels personally and building extensive networks through that. His background is business administration and tourism management, combined with early international experience in France and Italy, and that influences his design of bespoke travel with unmatched insights and professionalism. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you so much, Astrid, for the initiative and for bringing Loop Faces back to life. I remember the first one was in 2020 when I was also attending, and that was actually a similar time, right, when the pandemic started. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. With pleasure. Similar crisis. Yeah, we'll see if it is similar. It's an interesting question. Our next friend and colleague is Till Brunnecker. Till is the founder and managing director of Edel Travel Luxury Luxusreisen GmbH, a travel agency specializing in bespoke luxury trips. He has about over a decade of experience in luxury tourism and focuses through Edel Traveling on combining highly personalized consulting with digital services, creating a hybrid luxury travel model driven by ongoing digitalization. In the German-speaking markets, Adel Travel has expanded internationally, entering Dubai and the broader Middle East and operating in France already for the last 3 years. And this reflects a strategic approach on scaling its digital-first high-touch service approach across multiple key luxury travel markets, which is also very interesting, obviously, nowadays. And last but not least, our Timo Kohlenberg. He's a leading expert in North America luxury travel and co-owner of America Unlimited, which is recognized annually by the US Travel Association as one of the world's top tour operators. Not an easy destination either at the moment. Or the last couple of months. In addition, he successfully runs Feinreisen and has just recently launched Australia Unlimited, the latest addition to his growing portfolio. With a background in advertising and early experience in New York City, he's known for bold, innovative marketing in the tourism industry. And Timo also hosts a widely available travel podcast, combining industry expertise with thought, leadership, and public engagement. So completely four different, let's say, portfolios, expertise, which is very exciting, I think, because we will get a very broad insight. I would like to start with Stefan, the first one. We would like to know what is the most important factor for you at the moment to manage the situation the best way possible? What's the most important factor?
Most important one is always is the satisfaction of the guests because it's a very uncertain situation for many of them because they're like stranded even now because still we have some which are the last ones, let's say, in the destinations around the Gulf region. This is the first one, and beyond we have quite a lot of let's say affected with connection flights via the Gulf region. And of course, they feel as well like uncertain how I can come back. Can I book another connection flight or a direct flight or whatever? So to stay in contact, to be very personal, what's the issue, what we can do. And that's a challenging situation. In the beginning, like 3 weeks ago already, was completely a mess because everybody was like, what's going on there? Who is where? The guests were on excursions or on transfers or whatever, so where they are stranded. And of course, we found a solution for the majority of them. They are all back now, but beyond, it's still a challenge. And the clients would like to go. They want vacation to have the experiences to Thailand, New Zealand, whatever, and they have connection flights. Easter holidays are around the corner. And we're always trying to find a solution for the clients, for us, for the airline. Yeah, but it's a challenging situation. Yeah, but we have a big crisis team. We are part of the TUI group, which helps us a lot regarding stuff. Even when the people came back, the clients are arriving at the airports somewhere in Europe. We had like our own staff there, welcome them, make the transfer coming back home easily. Yeah, this helps a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Chris, what is the important factor for you at the moment to manage the situation? What helps you?
Well, I think it's really all about communication to the internally, right? Giving really clear guidance because it was all new for us as well, I have to say. I mean, even if we had several crises in the industry before, but that was completely new. And then communication to the clients and as well to the suppliers, right? Because at the beginning, as Stefan said, we really received a massive amount of inquiries for people who were either in the destination. That was, I would say, the first for us, the first 3 or 4 days when we had to see how we can help these clients, bring them out of the countries, flying them safely back home to their home countries. And immediately all these guests who are traveling within the next weeks, or as Stefan said, Easter is around the corner, but now also clients who are requesting about their trips in June, July, mainly with like Emirates, Qatar, or Etihad. And got really, really challenging, I have to say. And besides the communication, we also had to be available 24/7 via WhatsApp, for example, for our clients. Motivation as well is an important factor, right? Also motivation for ourselves. And because it was really frustrating the first days, the workload was massive. And motivation also to our clients, to really still engage them and travel, because some of them, they were even saying we will cancel our summer vacation, I don't know, to Europe, because in these days we prefer staying at home. So that was really, really, I would say, the two most important factors, communication and motivation.
Timo, what about you guys?
I think a lot of them have already been mentioned, but it's definitely the client always comes first. I fully agree to what Steffen said, and the challenge really is, in my opinion, to especially working with the airlines, because they always come out with like, you can cancel in like 2 days, 3 days, 4 days or something, but what's going to happen in days, we need to know as well. So I would definitely also urge to have a better communication with the airline partners. In that sense, especially in Qatar and Etihad. For us, we are mostly impacted by the transit passengers, basically, because we have high business volume in Australia and New Zealand, and and we obviously booked a lot of flights through Dubai, mainly some through Qatar as well, and yeah, some clients were stranded, obviously, in those areas, and being on higher end level as well as all these guys here are. We have a lot of business in first class flights also that were impacted, and there's really also a challenge managing the clients that persisted on having a first class flight back in this situation can be quite challenging, while others are completely happy that our team did a great job. What Chris said is also very important. Besides talking to the client and trying to be make the client in the end, it's also very important to have a clear guidance for the team. I think we pretty much all of us joiningly failed in the Corona crisis when we all didn't know what to do, and we learned a little bit from that. But it's always the same thing, you go into groups, you go into meetings, and you can see like all the CEOs of the companies go like, what should I do? I don't know. How do you handle the situation? I get lots of calls still from colleagues in the industry. I feel you always have to look at client one by one, and that's really the challenge that we have. And we actually even also implemented someone for crisis, especially in our team, to be sure that we have clear guidance in the future now, and also for this ongoing crisis, I would say. I think that's the two most important factors. First of all, the client, and then definitely the team with a clear guidance, and that's important. And I just really hope this will.
Till, what about ill travel? What are your factors?
I agree on all three guys and what's mentioned before. But what was the most important for me personally is that we had like our team inside and like sorted for everything. They had an overview, and that came clearly down to all the experience from COVID. And they were just putting out the plan. They know how to handle the situation, who to involve, who not. And first thing onwards was communicate with clients and all the partners. And I think after kind of 2.5 weeks, everyone is now settled in, sorted, and now it's about how to handle everyone who's like popping up now for the next upcoming month. And as I don't know who was mentioning it, but we will not talk about the cancellation in August right now because there's like other priorities. But everyone has his personal priorities, especially being a client. This is my individual priority, and you have to take care also of those. So yeah, we had the team inside, and then we started from there.
Absolutely. I hear some of the actually, Chris, you wrote when we were communicating that we immediately turned into crisis modus because we know how to do it. From pandemic,
Well,
unfortunately,
yeah. We know that, but I learned a lot days. There were really some challenges, like not people who were in the destination and want to fly back home. That was similar to COVID, I would say, right? When you had people in the destination. But what came up now is really this clients who have the flights via the hub, right? Via Dubai, Abu Dhabi, for example, to the Maldives. And I remember I had some calls 10 days back with hoteliers in the Maldives who did not understand that these clients want to cancel. And they say, well, please book an alternative flight. And I said, well, it's not possible because there are no flight tickets available or at costs which are like triple of the price from the original cost. So that was really, really tough. I never had this kind of conversations. And still, some of the suppliers need to understand our situation, which is also different in other parts of the world because we rely on the German travel law, which gives the clients the right also for a full refund when there is a travel warning, even only for transit clients, and that is that some suppliers do not know. I mean, how should they know that? I mean, it was new for me. And that was really, or is still a challenge, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Till, do you see any parallels or not parallels and navigating through the situation, comparing COVID at that time, industry resilience, crisis management? Is there anything that is different?
So I think for everyone was like, you have to switch into crisis mode, but the good thing is you already forgot how to do it. And like after a few years, you just simply get rid of the knowledge. And that was also with partners. Like the first responses, for example, from other destinations, like the destinations itself, they were all cooperative. They had issues in responding and whatever, but you can imagine the demand that popped in right away. But apart from that, like in the days, you had like those properties, especially from the Indian Ocean, they were not really able to understand, like Christoph mentioned. How could you not book another flight? Just shift them through any Asian country or whatever. But there were no tickets available or at like ridiculous cost.
Or only in economy class, and as we are all in the luxury segment, I mean, we need to satisfy these clients who want to fly business and first. And that's the challenge.
Which is not the quality approach. Totally. But then like after, I would say after 5 to 7 days, everybody like found the knowledge somewhere in the back of their heads again, like how to handle this, how to be cooperative, how to work with partners, and same for clients. After like some were panicking out, like the majority was very relaxed and just responding to the situation, nothing else. Yeah, so I see parallels in terms of COVID, but touch wood, I don't see a crisis in any terms that is going to be that big.
That's great. Steffen, when we were talking, but it's quite some days ago, you said something, but that was really in the early stages. You said you think this is worse than the pandemic. Why did you say that?
Yeah, that's right. Because pandemic was like everybody was closed. The whole world was closed, step by step. It took like 3 weeks, and then the whole world was closed. This was, let's say, at this time, disaster. Handling was all the same. Destination by destination was open, and then bring all the clients back, and then when you can start again. But here we have the situation, let's say for the Gulf region, there's a similar, let's say, procedure to bring the clients back, but there are no new arrivals at the moment. We have the travel warning in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, so all clients from us, they cannot go. So it's, let's say, it's handling is but a challenging situation we have with the connecting flights. As we heard already, it's Africa to Asia, is Pacific, Australia. Lots of clients would like to go there. For the hoteliers, of course, it's confirmed booking. Saying, okay, why we are depending on the flight of the customers? The hotel's ready, the villa's ready, everybody's clients will come. Yeah, but we cannot because we have the travel warning. We cannot take the connection flights via the Gulf region. So then to find alternatives for, let's say, reasonable costs, it's a challenge. And because of the peak season, like, I don't know, like maybe 4 or 5 weeks later would be from the handling side a little bit better. Because now with Easter, because it's fully booked, the flights were quite fully booked. now it's the capacity to Asia, Australia, Africa, quite a lot via the Gulf region. This is what the airlines did, let's say, very well over the last 10 years. They had a really good product, very good connectivities to more or less every, let's say, important airport in Germany, Austria, Switzerland. So that's what it did, so that the majority of the clients already booked via Gulf region. And there we are now, because this majority of the clients know they are impacted. Nothing to do, once again, with the hotels and beyond. There's like, okay, we are fine. And that's why we have the discussions as well. Maybe we come one day later, one day earlier, whatever, or even we have to cancel because the clients, they do not want to absorb the costs or not willing to fly anymore because the corridors going to Asia, Australia, Africa is quite narrow now around the region of the crisis. So always the clients, they have different, let's say, feeling of security. Some of the guests like, oh, no problem, I would go to Dubai even. If it's possible, I will go. No, it's not allowed from us. Others would like to say, even, I don't know, Christmas this year, never will go there. They already booked already, and they're asking like what we ever already heard to cancel or rebook. I said, I'm sorry. Of course, we can check every booking, what we can do, but it's nothing to do what will happen in half a year or 1 year. Let's say we have as well the complexity of some of the bookings. It's not hotel like what we have with, for example, with private travel. We have a whole journey. It's like going from there to there, and then it's always depending, can we fly, can we come in and out? It's really a mess. That's why it's in some cases, it's same like COVID, the Gulf region. There will be a date coming, hope sooner than later, that we can fly. It's over, whatever, and then very quick, there will be a very good connectivity again. We'll see what the destination will do, but the challenge at the moment is and beyond the connection flights.
Yeah, absolutely. Timo, what do you think? I mean, with US market, which is also a wonderful destination to travel, but you guys, what do we have? Hurricanes, fires. There was also a lot happening there.
It's
Nature.
catastrophes.
But how do you see this now compared to the pandemic now with the situation?
To be really honest, Astrid, when it started off, it was obviously a weekend when it started. So it's never that something starts. To be honest, I completely underestimated it. First of all, I had questions in our group of employees who were asking, what are we going to do with the flight traffic? And I was almost like, let's figure that out on Monday. And and I didn't realize like how much of a situation this was gonna be. And then there were more and more questions coming back to me, and I realized, okay, this is getting bigger. And then as Till said, then from somewhere we actually took our knowledge from COVID and implemented that by also agreeing what Steffen said. It's all individual cases. As in Corona, we had the same momentum for every client, basically. So we all had to bring them back, and the rest was basically canceled. We didn't really know how long it would stretch, but we knew it was going on for some time. And now every client is different. One has to go back. One is a transit passenger. One is in the destination. One is going to fly to the destination. One is going to fly in 5 days and one in 4 weeks. But are we already canceling in 4 weeks, or are we canceling in 6 weeks, or are we not canceling at all and go one by one? So it's basically, I think, a really kind of personal decision by each and every one of us in the executive position, basically, what is this that I'm implementing in my company? Obviously, aside from the very short-term ones, probably all the same. But for the future, you didn't know. Like I know, Steffen is probably as a really big company to make decisions way more in advance, basically, than we can react sooner. But then we have the travel agencies, quite a few travel agencies that book through us as well. well, that that we also have to talk to, and that also want something from us. And that's then a plus side, I think, on our end, since we are there all the time and all try to make it work and make every individual wish work for them as well, if possible. But yeah, there are some parallels, I think, to the US, and you're absolutely right, and that doesn't apply to the US. I think it also applies to Australia, where we've seen the fires in a couple of years ago. The US is it's always there are always certain that are affected, such as, there might be hurricanes in Florida. We have that almost every year. Then we have fires in California almost every year. So, but it's always usually for a little stretch. Usually it's not, they do not affect the touristy areas as much. So there is a case, or there are cases, or 5 cases now. It's another level, really. And while we deal with this level, we cannot really sell other trips to clients and or create new business also, because the staff is busy rebooking flights and refunding the travel cost and whatever and so forth, rebooking the whole trip, sometimes talking to clients, as Stefan mentioned, that are booked like 6 months in future, that we cannot even say anything about at this point. So it's a challenge, and I think we are all in the same boat here, and that at least makes it a little easier, because I always feel when we are together, we are stronger, and we know that we belong in the into the same universe, and can basically solve the problem only if we do it together. And I think that's really important, and we try to help each other. And that was also the reason why I said, why I'm calling the airlines out and say, like, also try to work with us, make it a little easier for us, because we are all in the same boat, and the clients are going to come back eventually. It's only a question of when is that going to be. And then it's always great if the relationship was also great when the crisis was there.
Definitely. Absolutely. Very nicely said. So let's now zoom a little bit deeper and look into this from your individual perspectives, because each of you have represent a slightly different angle within the luxury travel ecosystem. So Chris, Berner Travel has always been very strong when it comes to a diversified destination portfolio. Would be interesting to know, are you currently seeing stronger demands for certain alternative regions? How are your clients moving around, and what are they requesting? What can you recommend them now? What are you doing with them?
Yeah. That was really the question at the beginning. Like we started already with the team sitting together and were brainstorming, mainly for the clients who were booked to the UAE or to Oman or Saudi now for Easter. Where can we send them to? And, not just canceling the trips, but also offering alternatives proactively. I agree with you, Timo, that we were extremely busy with rebooking and refunding, but still I said to my team, let's offer alternative options. So we were brainstorming, and well, of course, we shifted some of clients to Morocco, which worked out very well. So I think Marrakesh will be booming now in the next month and weeks. And then we were really into sunny destinations in Europe now for the next coming weeks. I mean, I wish that summer hotels would be already open in Greece or on some of these destinations. So Greece is definitely also now an alternative, like at the island of Crete or Andalusia or even the Canary Islands. I've never experienced such an increase in demand for the Canary Islands than now within these last days. But well, I have to say, we also to secure most of the bookings for the Indian Ocean, for example. We found alternatives, and we were talking to the clients, and except of a few cases where the clients didn't want to travel. But well, yeah. And then let's see how it goes on. I think when we are talking about alternative destinations, I think all destinations now to the west, like the US or Mexico or even the Caribbean, we saw already an increase of interest for these destinations.
Very interesting. Till, youth person, Till, you just moved to Dubai. Great timing. I'm sorry, no, but I know you are very resilient, so I can say it the way I'm saying it. You opened your Dubai office, and how are you going to react in times of this geographical uncertainty? We are amongst each other, us here, so you can tell us now. I think it's great to speak openly because we all have our burdens to carry, and at the end, we are all entrepreneurs, and we're in this together. So how are you going to manage? What are your plans now?
So here's the take. Basically, we just started with all of that not long ago. So there's no infrastructure that's being hit in any case. Not like you have to put out many employees or anything like that. For me personally, apart and despite from everything that's spread in social media, I was there. I was literally there, and I felt totally all right. Was it an uncertain situation? Yes, full stop. But it was not that I was panicking or freaking out or anything. The only and the literally most important reason I'm in Germany right now is that today's my mom's birthday. So pretty simple as that. And that has been many, many months that I'm here now. And the other thing is, as I'm there with my family, nurseries are currently closed. So these are the two things that's being affected in daily life. And in terms of for the UAE, this is simply, let's say, on hold right now, as we haven't been digging deep for ages. And we just postponed this. Like the classical phrase since COVID, it's postponed, and take it from there. So, and as you know, I'm an optimist.
I know. That's
I'm
very cool.
not bad about this.
I know you are. This is great. And we all here, we are optimists, that's for sure. That's why we are doing this. As sad as it is, as sad as we see our wonderful colleagues, hotel colleagues in the Middle East going going on furlough, there's some dramatic cuts in the hotels, and there's is also the other side we have to see, of course. Steffen, you are a large travel organization, and you always a little bit, because you have this broad data, but it's too soon to have data, of course, now. But you see the clearest view of our booking patterns because you are the biggest one in the travel sentiment. So what do you see in the booking behavior, Via, since it escalated? You said that some people don't and some do, but you think more care? The German market is always a little bit like the people that are more scared or they're more careful. We have so many insurances for everything. The dog is insured, everything is insured. So this is a kind of a little bit the mentality, but maybe it's changing. I don't know. What is your outcome here?
No, this is actually it's force majeure for the region. So it's everybody like is out and no insurance and this kind of things. But the benefit for all the clients booked a package tour. They means they get the money back. They don't care about how it can come back. That's the tour operator. So that's the biggest benefit of package tours at the moment. That we see, especially let's say, if we get bookings for the region for summer or later, because they, as you said, some clients they don't want to say they don't care. They care. What we can see is, as we're offering since COVID, the flex tariff, the clients can rebook or cancel until 2 weeks before departure for med haul, and for long haul and schedule airlines it's 3 weeks. So nearly every booking which is coming in, they book with a flex tariff, which is very good for the client because they are flexible, no insurance needed and this kind of things. But something will happen, or whatever reason, they can rebook without any reason. So that's a challenge, let's say, for us as a tour operator, for the airline, for the hotels, and even for the travel agencies. Because if the booking is cancelled, this is an issue of the commission. And that's why for the customers, it's the best way to book the flex tariff. But of course, for others, it's a challenge in the case they will rebook or cancel. Short-dated, we see, like Chris said, completely Spain means Andalusia, even Portugal, Madeira, the Balearics, Morocco, Canaries, even Mexico, Dominican Republic, even the US, Florida. It's now increasing since 3 weeks. It's more bookings coming in there. That shows us like the most of the clients, they want to travel. They want out of the daily work, of the daily behavior every day here at home. They want to travel. They want to have new experiences. They have time with their families, with their best friends, whatever. And it's a good case. But of course, we see there, let's say overall, and even the last years, this is not the only crisis, but maybe one of the biggest ones of the last years. But we see the Germans are like, they stop, like they thinking about what they can do. Okay, it's an insurance, it's a flex tariff, whatever. Maybe they stay more in Europe, in the European Union, especially because of all the fine there. That's why Crete increasing a lot, in especially end of April, May, June. It's a big increase now in demand, and we take care about this. We ordered more allotments. We spoke with a lot of partners to get more visibility of the hotels, of the room types, of the suites, of the villas, whatever. As once again, we are the part of a bigger organization. We have like, I don't know, 80 purchases around the eastern part of Europe in long haul to get quickly more allocations, and even as well some rates, some offers we are looking now there, because not every hotel is full in the western part. And yeah, it's good. Airlines are very quick. Airlines already mentioned new routes, direct flights to Bangkok, Cape Town, whatever. So even in Europe, lots of new possibilities. Even our own company, just some flights to the western part of Europe, and just the demand is there. Let's say after 7 days, it started again. Like we want to go. It's not the same level like before, but it's coming back. And
Okay. Wow. That's really good to hear. Despite all this tragedy, we need all the rest to come back as well. And I just wanted to mention, guys, please keep on sending the questions through. We will reply to them when after we got next round. So please send questions through. We will reply them. Timo, diversification. How are you going to handle this? Where are you moving over to Feinreisen then?
Yeah.
But US is coming. So
yes, well, we don't really see the US coming yet, unfortunately. But I wanted to add one thing also to what Steffen said, because to maybe also spread some optimism here, from like something what we've seen in the US is that after COVID, obviously all countries were impacted, and the US was impacted as well. It was closed for almost 2 years. And I remember how big tourism organizations in the US were actually telling their states and DMO offices and DMCs in the country, stay away from Germany because it will be the last country to recover from COVID. The interesting factor was it was one of the first countries to actually come back after the crisis. Other countries that they had predicted would come back much earlier, like the UK, for example, it took them much longer to be back. So I think what we see in Germany, yes, we are very careful. Astrid, as you also mentioned, we like insurances, we like to be safe, but we also tend to forget really quickly. We tend to quickly about strikes. I remember lots of our clients always go like when Lufthansa strike, which is a very recent problem and a very unfortunate problem in this crisis that we just recently had. That the news like this come up, people go like, I will never go on Lufthansa again. Literally, like 2 months later, they have forgotten about that claim. So it is really something to actually also think in crisis situation. I think that people do forget. So they will come back. It's a bit of a question of what the will be, but it's not going to be long term. It's definitely going to be either short or midterm. So it's that's really important. And yeah, diversification for sure. I mean, we had to think of that already when Trump was elected, because this time it hit much harder than the first term he was in. So we've been having that challenge. I was going to how I'm calling it for about a year now, is there's been a strong for us to Canada. So Canada is absolutely booming. That's already been like that for 2 or 3 years in a row now. Not necessarily all connected to the administration in the US, but also since it's very much of a trend destination, I think. It's perceived as safe. It's perceived as something that can be similar in some of the landscapes as the US for countries in the world. I was just reading here in the chat, the Nordic countries, for example, were also something where Feinreisen has some bookings now. They are perceived as being really safe. Even, I mean, US, which Steffen mentioned, what we do have in Germany pretty much is a press problem, a press and media problem. It's sometimes not so much the actual issue that's going. It's more of how the press passes it on to the customer. I was going to say. So the problem is sometimes harder usually than it actually is a problem. Sometimes there is not even a problem, but it's made up. For example, I can share that from experience for the US, for example, where there were discussions going on ESTA form, which is the online immigration form that you have to fill out 3 days in advance. They were discussing that you might have to put your social media handles in there. That blew widely open in the press here in Germany. It was literally in every news outlet, and people were, especially on social media, I'm never going to go there again, and they don't get my data. And Germans can be very protective of their data also. So it's something. And then in the end, it wasn't even sure if that's going to make it through Congress or if that's even coming through. So. And again, if that would have happened in Australia or even in the UAE or something, no one in the media would have cared about that. So it's sometimes it depends so much on how much is currently in the press, how much currently on that specific country, and so on and so forth. So the media blows it widely open, and that's a challenge for us. I've literally been doing probably like 40 to 50 interviews on that situation, and it's and people and the press cuts it out sometimes. They only see the bad things. It's already been made up beforehand, and I think that's also a little bit what we see in the Middle East now.
Yeah, but this is why we need our travel experts like
Exactly.
you guys. And this is what makes the travel industry so important again. And I think those guests and clients who forgot that since the pandemic, I hope they remind that again. So they remember that again. So let me just throw in some of the questions whoever would like to answer. I don't know who it is. How is the current perception for Cyprus from the DACH market, from where we have the most cancellations, not only for March, April, like most other markets, but also for the rest of the year? Is that something that you see?
Cyprus has no travel warning, but it's quite close, as we all know, and the clients as well. We, at the moment, our relations are very clear. It's our terms and conditions. There are no possibilities, let's say, for the clients to rebook or cancel free of charge. So they can rebook and they can cancel, but according to our TLCs. And we are looking very closely to Cyprus as well. For us, it's quite an important destination. We want to have Cyprus open as long as possible, and hopefully there will be no travel warning. That's the worst case, because then we have to cancel. There's no possibility. But at the moment, I'm looking positive. I'm as well an optimistic one. There was only one situation where for some days Lufthansa canceled the flights, so they had an issue to bring the clients there. But will be always according what's happening nearby.
Okay.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that. I would not say that Cyprus is like too much included within the further conflicts. Again, I have no clue, but this is my gut feeling, and I try to rely on this as much as I can.
Okay. Now, Barbara wants to know, what about Italy as a destination? Who wants to reply to that? Wonderful. Take it.
Short term as well, Sicily. We're getting bookings, rebookings to Sicily, and of course, beginning, let's say, of course, Italy is as well there. But let's say it's a different motive for the clients going to Italy and Sicily, especially, or Sardinia or whatever. But it's increasing as well. It's right. Like south of France, same.
I mean, does anybody of you see, because we have been hearing before this terror crisis started that especially Italy and the other destinations, the rates are going up so much because the US market is kind of like so strong there and they pay every rate almost, so that the prices are, is that going to happen now? Is that even going to, because if they're more in demand, what do you think? What do you see?
Yeah, I think they will definitely increase, right, in the Western Mediterranean for this summer. You can see that already when you are checking the bar rates. And well, this is a challenging situation as well, no? I mean, I see that also in the Balearic Islands that the prices are now increasing. But well, if clients still want to travel, it's the same with the south of France. I was sending out an offer today, and the price is nearly doubled in Saint-Tropez in some hotels. I don't want to mention a name compared to last season. So instead of 1,500 euro, you are now paying 3,000 euro per night. Well, I think these destinations will be full this summer, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree to that as well. I also have one example. A client just yesterday was mentioning to me that he looked up flights and to Madeira actually in 450 euros. And right after the crisis started, 2 or 3 days in, they were ready to book, and prices were around 700-800. So it was just a couple of days later. So you can literally see how it's adjusted.
Yeah, so like unfortunately in every crisis you have winners and you have unfortunately losers. There's a very good something I also had my list from Dalia. How do you think this is going to impact the Middle East as a destination in long term? We hear all these, social media, etc. The trust is gone and all these media again that we have here. But how, I would love to know from all individually from you, do you think Middle East is going to get back? Is it going to take longer than maybe another destination would have? What is your opinion on that? I know we don't have a crystal ball. I know that, we know that, and I know tomorrow it could be different, but who wants to start?
Maybe I can start because I've already said it before, really.
Yeah.
I think it's not going to be affected in the long term because we've seen it before. We've seen that people forget really quickly. It's going to be affected midterm, short to midterm for sure. It also depends a little bit on how stable will the situation be after the war. But I think, to be honest, if everything settles in as it is now, it is definitely, or as it was before the war started, it's not going to be affected long term. So it will come back for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it will. I think personally, it will summer winter for our market when the situation is stable. I mean, now the upcoming summer months have never been important for us for these regions. I would say not for us. I mean, we don't have many clients traveling to these countries in the summer months. But I think also like we now got some requests, for example, for Saudi for the winter, and the partners there were not showing any kind of flexibility when it came to the cancellation terms. And that is also very important now for, let's say, a recovery plan, that these suppliers need to be kind of flexible when it comes to cancellation terms and payment terms as well. Because if the client want to travel to the destination, of course they want to go and they are ready to book, but of course giving them a bit of flexible option. What Stefan said, I think with the flex tariff with air tours, I don't know if you are also offering it for round trips in these countries, or well, so that is definitely helping. Wow.
Yeah, of course, there's a risk. There's a risk by our own. but it's working actually as well. And I think it's in the hand of the destinations and the hotel partners and let's say the
And the
DMC
airlines.
and the
Well,
tourist
yeah.
board and all together to have really a recovery plan. Of course, I'm very sure we would support all of this, but there must be a plan there how this will work all together. What we can do there, like what's the campaign, what would be the rates for the beginning. I'm very sure, as already mentioned, the clients will come back because the attractiveness of the destinations are really great. What they did over the last, let's say, decades, they created something very special, very unique in the world. And there are still declines. Maybe they planned maybe this year and now for next or the year after. We see this always in the US when there is something happen, so it will be next year. I'm very sure for next year I will looking very positively, even with the exchange rate, by the way. This will help as well to bring clients back. So it will be a matter of, let's say, promotion, working together with tour operators, with travel agencies, price level, this kind of things. And we all don't know when this will ending, but my intention is like when this will be ended, the airlift will be possible maybe half year later. We will have a much better situation. Chris mentioned will be winter, which is the most important destination season in general for the region. But it's always depending what will happen next days, weeks. Yeah.
Till, what is your opinion?
So basically, I agree fully on the three of you. So my basic intention, I said this before, is obviously every one of us would love to have like the Easter business without the hassle and everything. But long term, answering the question itself, long term, no doubt about anything. Long term, I'm thinking clearly next winter season. And we're just like, we can again touch wood that summer is not a fancy destination for us going to these Middle Eastern countries. And if this would have all happened, I would say 4 weeks from now on, the whole situation would be way more, I would not say relaxed, but I think you all get the phrase I want to say. So yeah, totally optimistic on having the next winter. And we also see that clients are for late summer, early winter month, autumn in Germany and Europe, they're very easy, they're booking. But the other thing is like, which is very important for every partner that's listening right now, it's what Christoph said. We need flexibility. We need to ensure our clients that there is something happening. If there is a travel warning, whatever, because like German travel law, we can't do anything about it. We are like the only country in the world that has like these strict rules, but it is what it is. And we need our partners there to support being flexible. And then this is a long-term relationship. We would never forget the clients and the partners who supported us in COVID and vice versa. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I have to say, we can already see some hoteliers, for example, from the Indian Ocean, who are showing this kind of flexibility. I mean, over the last days, we received new cancellation and payment terms from these countries, which are highly appreciated, but it would also be an I think really beneficial if the countries which are more affected are giving us the same flexibility now in future to really gain the trust of the clients again, right? Because I think at the moment one will book a trip to these areas with no flexibility.
So true. Absolutely. Well, 1 hour just went by like nothing. So I think we will call it a day, so to say. Maybe we should meet again in a couple of months and see what happened in this context. I would like to say thank you to my panelists for taking the time in these crazy times, because we know we're all having quite a lot of night shifts. There are more questions coming in, but we will make sure that we keep on replying to you after. Thank you to everyone who has joined today. It was a big, huge audience. We can see we're all a little bit tense, but we're optimistic. We want to send our best wishes to the Middle East, to all the hotels that are really suffering, that are bleeding out at the moment financially. We know that. and send our love, Eid Mubarak, everything we can, that you guys, make it, get it. We're here for you for sure. We're going to miss out on 21 hotels at Loop Leisure in Madeira next week as well. That just can't make it. We're sad about you guys not coming. We are welcoming you in Mallorca in autumn for sure, because it's just like you, we need to be flexible, but we're going to miss you. That's what I want to say, just not your present, not being here. But before we end, a quick invitation. We're going to do a Loop Faces panel, which will be streamed live from Madeira next week at Loop. That's something new we are doing. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll make it work. It's going to be fun with great panelists as well. Thank you, everybody. Sending lots of love around the globe. Thanks for your time, and see you soon. Take good care of yourself. Thanks for joining.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
everybody.
Thanks, Astrid.
Have a good day, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.